Hi, my name is Courtney, and Teresa Dawson is my partner in life, my partner in crime, and she is the one who we are doing this GoFundMe for. I left a bit of a tearful message before, but it didn't quite get to explain exactly who Tess is and what we're doing, and I apologize. Sometimes those emotions come out of nowhere. I don't even know that the tears are there until I start to think about life without her and what that looks like. Our our days go like this. Tess usually wakes me up between 2 and 3, and it's because I swear she doesn't sleep anymore. It was the steroids that she was taking for the inflammation in her skull or on her brain, one of the two. And now she has nightmares. She's always had nightmares, but she has them more on a consistent basis, or she wakes up and she's not feeling well, or sometimes it's just that she's been up all night by herself and she's lonely. So my days start at 2 a.m., 2:30, 3 a.m. They end at about 7 a.m. when 7 p.m. I'm sorry, when I finally tell her that I have to go to bed, and then she's alone from 7 to 2 again, and we start the whole thing all over. There are many times when Tess can't articulate what she's thinking or feeling. She actually just called me at work here about a half hour ago, and she was crying, and she had a dentist appointment this morning in Columbus, and she's going because the chemo has completely destroyed her teeth. They're breaking into pieces, and I think probably 7 of them had come out before she finally found someone at the College of Dentistry in Columbus to remove the remaining teeth and give her dentures. So right now she smiles like that. She's too self-conscious to smile. So we got up and we headed to Columbus. It's about an hour and 15-minute drive. And we got there and confusion set in because Tess thought today was Thursday and today is Wednesday. So they obviously couldn't see her. They couldn't get her in. And she realized that she was going to have to call her family and see if they could help with arrangements for tomorrow because I was late coming into work today. And she called me crying, and she just kept saying, "I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry." And I said, "Tess, if it's a big deal, I'll take you. You know, her family's actually going to meet halfway, and they're going to take her tomorrow, and then we'll meet halfway, and I'll pick her up and I'll bring her back home." But she was really, really kind of shocked by the fact that she had forgotten, gotten her days mixed up. And then she said that her head was killing her, and I asked her if she took her Topamax, which is what they've prescribed for these headaches, which is caused by the cancerous lesions in the front of her skull and in her, I think it's clivus, I think that's how you pronounce it, in the base of her skull. So they're giving her Topamax. She's out of steroids, and the Topamax just isn't doing anything. So she takes gabapentin for the neuropathy from the cancer, and she's going to try that. I told her to take some Tylenol and put a heating pad on her head, but she's got a really, really bad stomach ache and feels sick, and this, unfortunately, is par for the course as well. There are very few days that Tess actually feels halfway normal. What's more common is that she's running a fever, or she's throwing up, or she's got a stomach ache. And then we have the days where she just doesn't realize what's going on. I woke Tess up the other morning. She actually didn't wake me up, so I was up from 4 to 6 by myself, and I went in to check on her. And she woke up confused. She didn't know what day it was. She didn't know what month it was. And that's not so odd. Unfortunately, that happens, quite a bit. And I went outside. I was drinking my coffee on the front porch. And she came out to get me because she wanted to call her mom and she couldn't figure out how to dial on her phone. And I looked at her phone and it said star 777777. And I'm like, what number were you trying to call? And she said, I'm trying to call my mom and I can't remember how to do it. So those things are par for the course. And that's before, it's 12:30 now. That's all usually before 6 o'clock in the morning. And then there are the days where she's woken up and hasn't known anything. And I feel her forehead and she's burning up and she sweat through all of her clothes. And we call the ambulance. They take her to the hospital and she had 106 fever. Last time this happened, she had 106 fever and they had to pack her body with ice packs. Finally got it down to 103, and at 103, she opened her eyes and she's like, what's going on? Where am I? And she gradually came to, but I mean, this is life with someone who is dying from terminal cancer. Tess was diagnosed with cancer 7 years ago, March or April. And I had no clue when I walked in there with her. She said she knew because a bunch of doctors came filing in, but at that point, it was stage 3. Well, then further testing showed that it had already metastasized to the hip. So it became stage 4 metastatic. From there, it spread to her shoulder blade, it spread to her spine, and it spread throughout her ribs. Tess has 4 healing fractures in her ribs right now. And that can be because she literally turns the wrong way. That can be because she falls. She fell the other day, putting her clothes away in her closet. She fell and snapped her ankle bone several years ago and spent 3 months in a wheelchair. This is, unfortunately, cancer isn't just someone getting chemotherapy and radiation. It bleeds into every part of your life. And, there's nowhere to go from here that gets better. The doctors have talked to us about putting her in hospice, but she can't go into hospice if she's going to go in and out of the hospital with these recurring UTIs that she seems to have every 3 weeks. She ends up hospitalized for them. Since we've met, we've been together 11 years, and since we met, she's probably been hospitalized 150 times. Hospitalized in the ER or in the walk-in ER, being seen at least 150 times. So as we're marching towards the end, there was a point where it was so overwhelming for me and I couldn't breathe. I couldn't handle one more catastrophe because she would get out of the hospital and 2 days later, she'd end up in an emergency situation. And thank God my work was willing to allow me to run up to the hospital when I needed to be there and come back. But it's never ending. And what's going to happen, and we've talked to her oncologist, is that when she does go into hospice, she's going to get a UTI. She's developed ESBL, so they don't treat them with the common, like Bactrim type antibiotics. She has to get the high-powered one due to the ESBL. It's very resistant. The bacteria is very resistant to any antibiotics working. So she's going to get a UTI. She's going to lapse and go into sepsis. She's going to lapse into a coma, and she will pass away. This is a guaranteed certainty. So until she decides, this is it, I'm done, everybody come see me because within a couple weeks I'm probably not going to be here. she fights. And it's not pretty. And it's not pretty for anybody around her. It's hard. It is so hard. It's so hard dealing with this. It's so hard going to work and trying to focus and do your job, and then come home and you have a second job, which is taking care of someone, and the hours vary, you know. It varies when she wakes me up. Sometimes she wakes me up at 12:30 at night. Sometimes I sleep till 4. But she'll wake me up just to say, I love you. And then she'll wake me up and say, honey, I'm in so much pain, I don't know what to do. Or she'll wake me up and say, I just found out I have 9 months to live. And I'll say, where did you get that? What doctor told you that? I just read it online. And yeah, that's what it says. If your cancer metastasizes, your breast cancer metastasizes to the clivus. Sorry, I don't remember which way to pronounce it, but if it metastasizes, there's not a long time. So Tess was talking, and she wants to go to Washington, D.C. She wants to see the Smithsonian Institute and the Vietnam Veteran Memorial. We have a friend here, a tenant here on the property, and he's a Vietnam vet, and she wants to go buy him something there. And that's just Tess. Tess is planning on going so she can buy something to give it to somebody else. And that's just who Tess is. I mean, Tess is one of the most giving, kind, loving, accepting, tolerant people you'd ever want to meet, which makes me realize why she's with me, because you need to be patient and tolerant. We're polar opposites. I'm loud and brash and vulgar sometimes when I think I'm being funny. And Tess is not. Tess says, oh my lands, geez, oh Pete's, Jiminy Crickets. We literally, true story, my friend and I had to badger her for an hour straight to make her say a swear word. And then she said it, and we all just roared laughing. And then she said it again, and that just, lights out. And that was it. Tess does not swear. Tess does not talk vulgar. Tess does not talk dirty. Tess is very proper, which I get a kick out of, and I hope I make her smile sometimes too. I know she's got to be so sick of me sometimes. But she's my ride and die. She's my baby, and it used to be her taking care of me and turning my life around. And like she told me when she said, I'm making you, stronger so you can fly with someone else. But she gave me those wings. She nurtured me, and when I rejoined the workforce, she was the sounding board. She was the person I went to for advice. She mentored me in a way, ways that she doesn't even realize, and I hope that I tell her before it's too late. But she would like to go to Washington. She would love to go back to Hocking Hills. She wants to go back to Niagara Falls. We really had a good time with her sister there. She wants to go to the Canton Hall of Fame. Hello, Peyton Manning. I already wrote that, but I got to say that again. Peyton Manning. She idolizes you. She really does. She adores Peyton Manning. She was a Colts fan because of Peyton. She was a Broncos fan because of Peyton. She's a Bengals fan in spite of Peyton. She's a diehard Cincinnati Reds fan. She loves her Reds. So when she woke me up about a month ago in the middle of the night and said, hey, can we go to a game? I talked to your brother. And I was like, it was the last series of the year. The Reds were playing in Milwaukee. I'm from Wisconsin. We're living in Mansfield, Ohio. And I was like, oh, honey, no, my God. That's like a 7, 8 hour drive to get back home. She's like, but I want to see him play one more time. And I said, honey, I don't think we can do it. She laid next to me and she put her arm around me. And after a few minutes, she just kind of patted my stomach and said, will you just think about it? So I got up. I didn't talk to her about it. I came over here to work and I started looking online on, all different sites trying to see, can I find any tickets? So I called my brother. My brother said, get them. And I said, I'll go halfers with you. And he goes, no, I'll pay for them. And I said, no, I'll go half. I'll go 50-50. We'll see if my sister wants to go and you can go and Tess can go. And damn it, he Venmo'd me all that money back. And then when I tried saying he didn't have to do it, he got mad at me. Courtney, stop. I don't want to hear another thing about it. He knew how much it would mean to Tess, and he wanted to do that for her. And we bought her a piece of cardboard styrofoam thing, and she made her brain cancer bucket list sign with her favorite players' numbers on it. And I was able to take it down to the field before the game, and Sutter, I just remember that was his last name, he signed it. And I wish he had gotten to see her. There was no way Tess could make it down, 20 rows to the field. Then we ended up finding out that Gavin Lux, player on the Reds, his family was sitting in front of us. So we got a picture with Mama Lux and his uncle. And she had the time of her life. Milwaukee fans are the best. They were high-fiving her and wishing her well and trying to get her on the Jumbotron with her sign, which she never made. But it was a chance, like she said, she wanted to see her Reds play one more time in person. And that's, what this GoFundMe is for. It's to give her some memories. It's a send-off. It's a see you later, too. I mean, doing these things is going to be... Doing these things is going to be jam-packed with emotion because it's going to be a lot of lasts. And I don't like thinking about that because I tend to break down and I already know what it's going to be like, when I reach out and I call and I hear her, but she's never going to, that's her voicemail. She's never going to return my call. She's never going to answer when I say, hey, honey, and the clothes in her room are going to be where she last touched them. It's going to be very, very final. And I'm so scared to live without her. But I know that the humane thing would be just to let her go. What a choice in life, Stay and hurt and be sick so I can have you still. Or I'm going to walk through life alone without you. And that's at the crossroad where we're at right now. And so in the meantime, we want to do some things that are fun for her and take her mind off of it and make some memories. So thank you. Thank you very much. And whether you donate or just say a prayer or share, it's all the same, all the love that you guys have made her feel. So just thank you and thank you.